How y'all doing? Welcome back, good people. Look, um, college football playoffs, first year having 12 programs in. There seemed to be some discrepancy about who should be in a bye. Should we have buys? How would that affect conference championship games? Should there be conference championship games? We need to add more slots. All these things came up with the SEC complaining. As I mentioned before, okay, the SEC should be in good faith about their positioning in the college football playoffs. As I mentioned before, they got 3 teams in, right? They got 3 teams in, and they got a bye slot. What did they want? All 4 bye slots? But the point I'm trying to make is each conference should have a pipeline, okay, to the bye slot, okay? But let me roll back a little bit on the comparison, okay? The Big Ten got 4 programs in, the SEC got 3, the Big 12 got 1, the ACC got 2, plus Notre Dame in a group of 5. Now, I believe that in the next year or two, that the playoff slots should open up to 16 total teams. I do believe that there shouldn't be any more bowls hosting. Bowl sponsored hosting the playoff games. It should be equivalent to like the NFL, where the team with the best record should host the playoff game at their home stadium. Not only will that help programs with the new pay for play, or should I say NIL, and then the lawsuit, with each program having to pay out $20 million per year for the next 10 years or what. So I believe that these programs should be able, if they made it to the playoffs, they should be able to have or host a home game in their stadium, which would generate more revenue for their team and help the program grow and financially to help flourish their sports. And it's worthy and deserving because, of course, they made it to the playoffs. Now, far as the conference championship issue, should there be a conference championship game? Yes, there should be a conference championship game, because a couple of things that the conference championship game does for not only the programs, the conference, but it also does wonders for the committee. See, a conference championship game is almost like a within conference playoff. It kind of already vets the conference championship game, already vet for the committee which teams are better in the conference. So think about this. If you have the 2 best programs from a conference, right, who has played competitive matchups throughout the season and end up being have the best record in conference and the most wins, obviously they are worthy enough because they've did the work on the field, won the most games, and made it to a conference championship to determine who's the better team of that conference. So how does that not have value with vetting who should be in the playoffs? Automatically, the conference champion is automatically, or should I say, is considered the best team coming from out of that conference. So that program should be rewarded with a bye week, because they have been playing the tough schedule, winning the most games, and competing at the highest level. So it helps the committee. fill in at least 4 to 5 potential slots out of the 16 that they're going to be having. Right now it's 12. So why would you not have the conference a championship game? Because it helps the committee with their selection, and you are dealing with a good caliber team if they won their conference champion. Like, that only makes sense. I don't see how you can belittle, downgrade, or not value the conference champion when they've already been through all the tribulation to get to where they at. Now, that's why it's important for them to have that bye slot, but it also should be accommodated to where they would host the incoming matchup. The bye team is deserving of that slot because they actually, the conference champion is worthy of the bye slot because they worked their way there, and they should automatically be able to host the team that comes in because they won the championship. That means they are the cream of the crop of that conference for that particular year. Each year is going to change, it's going to vary. And let's look at it like this. You have the conference champion getting the bye slot, and they are in the playoffs, right? So let's look at it from this perspective. You have 4 conferences with over 16 plus members, okay? There's too many programs. Think about this, how this is really unfair. No one talks about this. I didn't hear this. You have 16 minimum programs in a particular conference out of the Power 4, okay? All these people are competing for playoff spots. Why would you not have multiple bids per conference to get in and show themselves on the field who's the best? And this is why the ranking system must go, far as deciding who gets in the playoffs. It should be clearly strength of schedule, wins and losses, and conference championship. Because when you look at it, you got all these programs and they're going through a funnel, and only one team is being produced to go to the playoffs. Think about all those programs. Like, it's unfair to all those programs if they're working hard. And, like, for an example, Colorado, BYU, and Arizona State should have all been in the playoffs this year, but nobody talked about that. Instead, we're sitting here talking about Alabama, how they should have been in when they already got 3 programs in. These are the arguments that should be occurring on the Big 12 side. You got 16 programs. You're producing 3 to 4 quality programs each year that can compete with any program in the Power 4 conference. And you mean to tell me only one gets in? So this is the reason why it needs to be 16 slots, because you're dealing with 4 conferences with 16 minimum programs, and it's not deserving or even fair to cheat them out of playoff slots when they're just as good as a team from the SEC or the Big Ten, period. So that needs to change, and there should be the conference championship game because it helps the committee vet the programs. They are the best of that conference. How do you leave them out? Also, far as the top 3 programs from the Big 12 should be invited, whether it's the 12th seed, the 10th, whatever, they should be invited. But the rankings are creating disadvantages for these other conferences, because you always got the SEC being ranked in the top 10 slots all year long. So is the Big 10 in certain instances, and then the Big 12. And if you notice, this year the Big 12 and the ACC were playing 10 or from the 10th slot all the way down to 25. You never really seen them go above the 10th seed, and that is an issue. So we clearly see that rankings are being, is creating an unfairness for the other conferences. So we need to get rid of the rankings. Everything should be based off of win-loss. And if you don't want to play no more outside FCS schools and group of 5 schools, and you want to just keep it all Power 4, then do that. But everything should be win and loss. Okay, whoever have the best record, and they do need to play other peers within the Power 4, whether it be the ACC, the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12. They all need to play amongst each other in those non-conference games, period. And then you'll be able to determine, get a feel for how teams would do in the playoffs. But there should be, the Big 12 should easily, when they go to 16, should be getting 2 to 3, if not 4 teams in each year. So should the SEC, so should the Big Ten, and so should the ACC. And it may vary per year on the ACC because, you know, they only got about 3 to 4 programs in their conference, you know, Clemson, Florida State, and then you might get one come in with them, whether it be Miami, Louisville, that'll rotate. But the point I'm trying to make is we need the conference championship game. That helps the committee. If we're doing buys, the conference champions should get the bye because they are the best of that conference, and they should have home games. There should be no more bowl affiliated games in the playoff system. Keep the bowl affiliated games for those who didn't make it into the playoffs. Yeah, those can all be bowl games. Let those bowl games go to those who didn't make it into the playoffs. But for the playoff format and the 16 teams, it should all be host by the team with the winning record should host the home game, and it should go from there all the way up to the championship game. Each conference should have 3 to 4 bids, and that may fluctuate depending on the polarity and what the records are. But we should do a record, conference championship, win-loss record, conference championship game, hosting home games, and that should simplify the format of the playoffs moving forward 2026 and beyond. Once again, go to www.size-11.com to check out the website, merchandise, support the channel. It's free to click the like button, it's free to share the video, and it's free to subscribe. Doing that supports the channel. Once again, thank y'all. Until next time.